so glad you are joining me. I am overly excited about what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about a new book that I have just put out, and I can't wait for you to get it into your hands. But I want to give you kind of the cliff notes and encourage you to jump on Amazon and buy it. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. Let me just share something with you that you can do to help us out. Sharon and I have this passion to raise up a generation that knows God, and we call it the Cultivated Life. And so what I'm asking you to do, one of the things you can help us to do that costs you nothing, click that share button, get it on your page, like, subscribe, follow us, go to our webpage, thecultivatedlifeministries.com. Thecultivatedlifeministries.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. The Cultivated Life Ministries. We're just trying to really encourage people to become strong disciples. That's really what we want. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're doing our weekly podcast, our weekly teachings, but we're also starting to take 40 years of material. Sharon and I have literally thousands of sermons and teachings that we've done over the years, and we feel like that as we step into our next phase of ministry, that we need to start putting more of this information into the hands of people, and one of the ways we can do that is through books. And so this is a book that I'm really excited to bring to you. It's the Cultivated Life series. It's called Mastering the Waves, Leading Like Jesus Through the Storm. Primarily, this is a leadership book. And you would say, why do we need another leadership book? I mean, there are literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of leadership books. Here's what I know. Leadership is critical. It is critical, first and foremost, that you lead yourself. We always think about leading someone else, but you have to first learn to lead yourself. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others. Secondly, you do need to know how to lead others, because everybody, absolutely everybody that will watch this or that will buy this book will be in some type of leadership role. Now, you may be a homemaker with 3 kids and say, I don't have a corporate job, I don't have a team, it's me by myself, taking care of 3 kids around the house and getting homework done. You know who you're leading? You're leading those kids. You may be an individual on a job that is simply standing in your workspace or doing your cubicle. Somebody is watching you. Somebody is paying attention to who you are. And so it is so important that we develop healthy leadership skills and healthy leadership abilities. So we've got a few chapters. I'm going to just give you an abbreviated version of each chapter, but you will want to buy the book so that you can read everything, as well as at the end of every chapter, there are some small group questions. If you lead a small group, if you want to get some guys gathered around or get some of your friends, ladies, gather around and say, how can we become better leaders? I would encourage you to get this book. There's, I don't know, 8 or 10 questions at the end of every chapter that just, let me see, there's 8, 10, 12. There's like 12 questions, and you can pick the ones you want to talk about. You may only have the time to talk about 1 or 2, but you could make this a part of a book club. So let's talk about leadership. Mastering the waves, leading like Jesus through the storm. So I take the story, the premise of this book is that I take the story of when Jesus sends his disciples across the water, and then he goes and calms the waters, right? So the first thing that has to happen if you're going to be a leader is you have to learn to be a decision maker. Indecisiveness is the greatest hindrance to most people being leaders. They just can't decide, right? Years ago, Grant, and this isn't in the book, and I'll kind of weave stuff in and out of the book. Some stuff is in the book, some stuff's not. But my son came and had been at a friend's house, and he came home and he said, "Dad, they're like squirrels in the road." And I'm like, "What do you mean squirrel in the road?" He said, "It's like they can't make a decision. They get in the middle of the road and they're looking right and left and right and left and right and left, and they don't know what to do." Let me tell you something. Jesus was a decision maker. He could walk into a situation and assess and then make a decision in the moment. Every decision you make may not be the right decision, but you have to be a decision maker. I talk about how to do that. Secondly, you have to have direction. You have to have direction. Jesus knew where he was going. This may be called purpose. This may be called your destiny. This may be called your life calling, your gifts. You have to have direction in your life. If you don't know where you're going, you won't go anywhere. You'll be stuck. So I encourage you to determine, what is it that I'm looking to accomplish? What is my direction? Where am I going? Number 3 is do. Do, and that is put action behind your words. Don't just say words. Put action behind your words. James tells us, don't be just a hearer of the word, be a doer of the word. Let me just kind of bring that down granular. Don't just be a hearer of your own words or a speaker of your own words, but be a doer. Do what you say you're going to do. My grandfather, J.C. Cole, told me a man is only as good as his word. And I'm telling you, we are living in a generation that desperately needs people who will do what they say and say what they do. All right? Number 4. Number 4 is dedication. You have to be dedicated to the people that you're leading. If it's your children, if it's your family, if it's on a job, people need to know that you are dedicated. Jesus was dedicated to his followers, and when the storm hit, he didn't jump overboard and say, "I can walk on water. I'm out of here, guys. Good luck. Hope you figure it out." Right? Jesus was dedicated to his followers. You have to make sure your followers know you are committed to their good and their well-being. They will more than likely follow you off the edge of a cliff. If they know you are dedicated to them, they will dedicate to you. All right? Next is delegation. Jesus taught his disciples how to lead. If you end up, this is a weakness of mine, if you end up doing all the work, and everybody has to sit and watch you do the work, you're going to make people feel insignificant, unimportant, like they don't matter. You're going to chisel away at their self-esteem, and they're going to disappear because nobody wants to feel worthless. Jesus took the time to delegate to his disciples to say, "This is it. This is what I need you to do." If it's your children, if it's your employees, if it's your friend, you're working on a project together, delegate. Next is determination. Jesus refused to be stopped by the storm. Now, I don't know what you're leading or what your focus is, but there will be storms. If you're raising kids, about every 12 minutes, there'll be a storm. Right? Kids will wear you down. Am I the only parent who has a kid who will peck them on the shoulder and say, "Daddy, daddy, 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 daddy"? I said, "So help me, if you say daddy one more time, I'm going to lose my mind," right? Or they come to you and they're like, "Can I do this? No. Can I do this? No. Can I do this?" They'll wear you down. As a leader, you have to be determined and say, "I refuse to be stopped by the struggles and the difficulties and the hardships and the questions and the confusion and the chaos. I am a determined leader." Next is deliberation. Jesus discussed the problem. So here's what he does. As a leader, you probably know the answers to all the problems. Probably. Now, there's a few that you're like, oh, there's a new problem, didn't see that coming. But when we talk about deliberation, this is where you want to create consensus. You may know the answer, but it's probably going to be more beneficial to you as a leader if you'll bring people around the table and say, hey, let's talk about this. You may end up with a way better solution than you already had figured out in your head. Jesus discussed the problem. Have conversations. Listen to people when they bring solutions to the table. Be open and willing to see things differently because somebody else had a different idea. Okay? Deliberation is so important in leading people. Next is destination, and this is where Jesus accomplished the task. Again, we started back here with make a decision, number one. Number two was get your direction. Now we're down here at step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at step 8 in learning leadership, and he says we are at the destination. Between your direction and your destination, you have to stay focused. You have to do. You have to have dedication. You have to have delegation. You have to have determination. You have to have deliberation, but you have to stay on course. Don't be deviated from your calling, from the thing that God has put in you to accomplish. Next is the demonstration, and this is all in the scripture. When you look at the writings of Mark and the story of them going to the other side of the water, and this is where Jesus then shows up on the seashore. Remember, that's the destination. That's where we're going. Jesus told them at the beginning, we're going to the other side. Now, they got all stirred up in the storm, but he said, we're going to the other side. And when they get to the other side, they now encounter the man who is possessed with a devil. And Jesus demonstrates his power by reaching the destination that he was called to do. Now, I want to say this right. God will never call you to a place to sit idle. Now, you may sit idle for a moment or two on the journey, but God will never position you in a place to do nothing. He wants you to walk out your gifts. That's the demonstration. He wants you to walk out your anointing. He wants you to walk out your calling. He wants you to accomplish the task that he's laid out before you. And so that's an extremely important piece. But here's the last piece, is deliverance. Jesus healed the demoniac. He delivered him from the torturing spirits that were resting upon him. Now, like I said, this book you can buy it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the comments below. And you can click that link, go on to Amazon, and pick this up, buy 2 or 3 of them, hand them out to your friends and neighbors. But let me talk about this deliverance piece. I have not been set free so that I can sit and just gloat and rejoice in my freedom. I have come through everything I've come through so that I can then show somebody else how to be free. It's extremely selfish. It's extremely unhealthy for you to have the freedom and the liberty and the joy of the Lord and the peace of God, and for you not to then say, I'm going to take this and I'm going to minister to someone else. Every one of us are called to be ministers. Every one of us are called to exemplify leadership. And one of the ways that we do that is by walking people out of bondage into freedom. Walking people out of hopelessness into hope. Listen, I hope you'll pick up this book. I hope you'll jump on Amazon, buy a few of them, make it a group study, sit down and talk about it, because I want you to walk in the fullness of your purpose. I want you to reach your destiny. I want you to accomplish everything God has for you to accomplish, and I believe this book can help you do that. Hey, thank you for joining me. As always, share this, follow, like, subscribe. Let's get the word out, and let's do what God's called us to do. God bless you. I hope you have a great day.